What is it like being married to a Jamaican? Hi, I'm Xavier Murphy, the founder of Jamaicans.com, and today I talk to Tony from Zimbabwe and Deborah from Jamaica about their marriage journey. Welcome, Tony. Welcome, Deborah. How are you?
Hi
Hi.
Xavier, thanks a lot for having us. We are fine. Uh,
Good, good.
Thanks for having us.
Well, thank you for being here. So, tell us about your background and how you grew up. We'll start with you, Tony.
okay, so my name is Tony Tepoa Majanga. I'm a 32-year-old from Zimbabwe. I was born in a place called Kwekwe here, but currently reside in Harare. Um, I met my wife here when I went for university in China. This was when 2015 when we met. Then we got married in 2020. Yeah, so that's basically the long and short of
All
me.
right, Deborah.
Yeah, so I'm Debs, born and raised in Jamaica, Port Antonio to be specific. Grew up there, went to school there, then I went to university in Kingston, UE. I studied physical therapy there. Um, then I moved to China, went to medical school there in 2015, and that's when I met Tony, who then became my husband in 2020 after 4 years of a long distance dating. So, yeah, that's our
Wow.
background.
So I'm gonna get into the love story in just a minute, but you both were studying in China.
Yeah.
Yes, we were.
We were
Oh
all the way in China.
my. And what was that experience like for you both? Starting with you, Deb.
To be honest, most people who meet me, they can testify. I've always spoken about China in the best light. Like, it was probably one of the best periods of my life, to be honest. Why? I was going from a situation where, I mean, I'm at UE and, you know, not that life in Jamaica hard, but things are more expensive. And then when I went to China, I found myself being able to pretty much afford whatever I wanted. um, Going out wherever I wanted. If I wanted to go on a trip, if I wanted to buy something, if I could live life so freely and easily without worrying too much about the cost of living. And as somebody in uni, that's like so liberating. Um, so it was a very good experience. And also, I felt like it was a system that rewarded your effort. It was very, Chinese are very merit based. So if you're hardworking, if you're disciplined, if you get good results, they kind of reward you for that. So I really enjoyed my time in China and learning the language too. That was good.
And meeting Tony, who will tell us about his experience.
Oh yeah. For it was a good experience for myself as well. Um, Going there, the first year was a bit hard. Trying to adapt to the language, the different culture, different food. It's a it's a different world out there. So you really have to be, if you're going to go out there, you have to be really ready to adapt
Yeah.
to changes. But when you get used to when you get the hang of it, I mean, it's such a lovely place, and I think it was a bit easier for them when they came because when I went initially, there were not as much, people of color and people from. So she came afterwards, so we could show them the hoops, if so to speak.
So I'm going to move on to the love story part of it, and I think that is where Tony will tell us how he helped you to adjust to China.
Ah, c'est very easy though.
So so tell us your love story. How did you both meet in China? What was the first date like? And
Uh,
lastly, what drew you to each other?
okay. So we met through a mutual friend. So we share the same faith. We're both Seventh Day Adventists. So he told me that he was a Zimbabwean guy. He told me that there's a Jamaican coming through. Uh, just look out for him. I think she had asked if there's a Seventh Day Adventist church or something. Then he said, "Yes, I know someone." Then she came through, and then I'd actually followed up that. Did that girl actually end up coming? He says, "Yes, she did come, but I think she's comfortable at the other church she's going to." Right? Then I was like, "Ah, no, that's okay." Then one day out of the blue, I got a contact from another mutual friend who was trying. She was still looking for a church again. So yeah, I think that's how we then got to meet. And then one Saturday morning, we met at a bus stop. Then I saw her. Then I'm like, she's okay. She's okay.
You didn't say she's okay. You said
He's
she's
trying to tone it down.
yes.
Oh yeah.
That's not the version
I
he
don't know.
tells me.
I don't know what they say in Zimbabwe. Okay,
Yeah.
in Jamaica, such a pretty like money. I don't know what they
Oh
say
yeah.
in Zimbabwe.
Oh yeah. She was. She was. She looked like $1 million.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And
So
and
that's
and
when.
so go ahead, Tony.
Yeah. So as to the first date, I don't remember, but like from there we just had like interesting conversations, and would talk like for hours. So that's yeah.
Yeah, the problem
All
is we
right.
never really had like a first date because it kind of started off as, us being in a group setting and being
Mm.
friends and not really admitting to each other that we actually gravitated to each other beyond that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then by the time we came to that conclusion, he had graduated and he was leaving China and I was still behind. So it became a bit
Mm.
like he actually brings that up to this day. Like, why did you wait until we reached the airport before you admit that you're actually into me? And I'm like, well, I
Wait.
just
So that's
admitted
a
that.
story. So that's a story within itself now. So you're both in this friend zone or this
Hmm.
close friend zone, and
Hmm.
are you taking him to the airport, or are you with him going to the airport? And then right before you leave, you look into each other's eyes, and well, I'm not telling it. You tell it, Deborah.
No,
Oh, he wants to tell it.
yes,
Okay.
because I had been trying, and then you were shooting me down. Right? I was like, let's try to to make this work, and then she was just not for it. Then at the airport, that's when she decides to say, you know what, let's give it a shot. Then I was like, you know what, this is what I've been trying to say all along. What's taking you so
You
long?
know, Xavier, if we get into this, we're going to end up arguing for very long because he claims that he
I don't
was
claim. I actually did.
okay.
Yeah. Mm.
It didn't come on strong enough, Xavier. It didn't come on strong enough for me.
Tony, she's saying in Jamaican terms, the lyrics are for strong.
No, but you have to be a gentleman. I mean, you have to be a gentleman about it also. That
I
was
hear
yeah.
you.
Yeah.
So tell me, how did the cultural differences play a role in your relationship?
Do you want to take that
Was
one?
it a good thing?
Oh, okay.
Was it,
Like
something that you wanted to explore? You know,
yeah, definitely. So
Yeah.
remember, like she mentioned before, we're like in a long distance relationship, right? So I came here. We knew like the both of us were fine, but we knew if we're going to take an extra step, we're going to have to involve family, and me being Zimbabwean, me being African, it comes with a lot of cultural connotations with that. So I said, okay, fine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to invite you over, try to have you have a feel of what the place is like, how Africa is like, and how the culture is like. So fortunate enough, she came here. She saw, I think, enough. We went to weddings. We went to roras. Yeah,
Funerals.
a rora is like a dowry section. Yeah, we went to funerals. So I think she got a hang of how it's like, and how we it's like, yes, it's culture, but like we don't live it every day. Where it's
Right,
only once or
right.
twice where
Yeah.
you have to take a certain where you have to wear a certain persona, so to say, to
Hmm.
fit the occasion. So I don't know how you feel. That's how I tried to acclimatize.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. It did play a big role because, so first thing is the faith aspect made sure that we were on the same page in the fundamentals of things, right? But then of
Okay.
course culture is a bit different. So what he did was say, come over. So I used to visit during the holidays. I got to experience a bit of the hospital because I do what you call it, electives there. He would take me to these events like he's saying. And then I'd get to see how they do things on special occasions. And then realize that in general day-to-day life, it wasn't that different. There are only certain circumstances where I needed to assume a certain role. Um, and I guess I was okay with it because it's not like it's an everyday thing. Like, for example, if you go to the rural areas and there's like a certain type of meeting or gathering, as a female, I needed to sit on the floor, and then the guys would sit somewhere else. And I know somebody who's also Jamaican. Whenever she never take too kindly to that. She's like, "Well, why aren't we all sitting on chairs? Why should I, as a female, sit on the floor?" And then when you're coming from a Western background, you read into that. So you read into it, and you're like, how much of this going to play out into my day to day life? Like, is it a sign of, like, we call it oppression, or what does it really mean? And so you only get to understand those things by experiencing it and being in it over and over again. Then you see really to what extent it actually plays a role in the lives of people, and then you have a better understanding. So then I wasn't really shocked by a lot of things because I understood the meaning behind it and the place that it holds. And otherwise, day to
Right.
day life was pretty much what me used to growing up. There's not much difference. As you can see, we're both sitting on the sofa, and this is where we sit. I don't sit on the floor. So yeah.
Well, Tony, have you experienced anything with Deborah where there is a cultural misunderstanding where maybe, you know, Deborah says something and for you it means something else, or an action?
Oh yeah, of course, definitely,
I think that's the
definitely.
biggest bone
Yeah, that's
of
the
contention.
yeah.
Yeah.
Although we've got like our similarities, right? I've grown in a certain environment, and she's also been brought up in a certain environment. So definitely, those clashes about to happen, where I misread her intentions, or sometimes she misreads my intentions as somewhat oppressive. But yeah, what can I say? I'm an African man. Sometimes you just want to stamp your authority, like, and that's how we've been raised. That's how we know our fathers to be. There's sometimes it's sometimes the top down approach. How can I say it without sounding too yeah, but
I don't want to get you in trouble here.
And this is exactly the thing, because and we work on it. We work on figuring it out, because for me, I think I have a preconceived. This Xavier, we already have a preconceived idea of how things are in Africa when it comes to man, woman. So already you're on edge. Well, for me, I'm on edge and I'm watching like any funny action that comes off like you're trying to be. It's like me have to remind you, no, we're working together here. No, you know. And then it's not like I'm not being submissive. So again, in our faith, we believe wives, you submit to your husbands, da 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 da. And that submission is within a certain sphere, right? And I don't disagree with it. I'm cool with it.
There has to be some type of order in everything that is done. So before people freak out,
Yeah, please don't freak
about the
out.
word submit, about the word submission. Understand that submission does not mean one person is lower than the other person.
Right,
It is just
right.
an order. If we go, I don't mean to preach, but men are sub. God says, man, you are reported back to me, okay? And love your wife like you love the church. All right, that's enough preaching
Correct.
now. Please
Amen.
continue, Deborah.
Amen. Good. And the beautiful thing is, you and I, we are on the what? The same page about that definition. You see? So that's very important. Where I think for me, in the background of my mind, it's like a lot of people already stereotype what that what that means. And even the men too, like you have to actually be on the same level about what you mean
Agree.
by the submission of it, right? So I think we struggled maybe from the point of I wanted to make sure what his submission means, and him have to make sure I'm not like a Western person, because they call us Westerners, right? A Westerner who don't have no order. Like you just come in and you don't have any respect and any appreciation or acknowledgement for the role that your husband play. So we had to be figuring out and looking at each other through the side eye to really gauge where we fall on that. And then again, there's the element of, I think in general, Jamaicans, it's not a male or female thing now. I think in general, Jamaicans are more assertive,
Definitely.
both male and female. This side of in Zimbabwe, people are more, they're very, I don't want to say polite because that makes it sound like Jamaicans impolite. They're very, and docile. I can't find a good word that doesn't have a
Mm,
bad connotation. They're more relaxed about things. Right? And I'll give you an example. If I go to a place to buy something and I've ordered something specific and I've made it very clear, if you give me something we may never order, I'm going to say, no, excuse me, this is not what I ordered. Can you please fix it? Here, people have a tendency to kind of just take it and move along.
no, I think we're a bit non-confrontational, if there's such a word,
Yeah.
and yeah, we're peace-loving people. Like she always laughs sometimes, like when she'll see maybe on the road a policeman. He could have actually arrested someone, and they're walking together to the to
They
the
walk peacefully to be arrested, like together to the jail.
to the police, no, to the not jail, to the police station.
Yeah, to the police
It
station.
will be a minor
You just
infraction.
walk
It's
into,
not everyone.
and
I mean
they're
it that
laughing and talking with the police
yes.
and like this. And I'm like, which part you gonna say that in Jamaica? We're gonna be like, hey, hey, what are you doing? Why you arresting me? Me have to know, please tell me. What did I do wrong? You know? So that's been also a difference. I'm very open. I'm conversational. I don't think it's confrontation. I believe it's communicating. But here I've realized that there are instances I have to adapt and not communicate some things because it might be received as being confrontational. So,
All right. So,
hmm
and Deborah, you made a great point. Roles, you made a
hmm
great point about roles, and I think that is key. Again, I'm preaching from 31 years of marriage. So roles, knowing if we're clashing again up against each other, it don't work. But
hmm
I want to touch on kind of almost a little side topic because you're in Zimbabwe and you
hmm
are Jamaican in Zimbabwe. And
yes,
I am sure you are looked upon in a different way because of Bob Marley.
oh yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Do you know what? The first time I came here, I was just so surprised. You can walk, just walking in Zimbabwe, you hear reggae music, you hear dancehall. They actually have their own version, Zim dancehall, which is literally like dancehall replaced with the local language Shana, and one of the local languages,
Mm.
Shana. And when somebody, first of all, people think I'm bluffing when they realize first I don't speak a lot of Shana. Then like, okay, where are you from? I'm say Jamaica. Like, you're lying. No, no, and a lot of I once was asked by police to produce my like proof. I'm gonna show him a passport. He's like, "What? You're from Jamaica? Walk one!" And him start trying to talk patois, and he's like, "Oh, I love Bob Marley. We love Bob Marley," and a whole thing ensued, and everyone, and it feels so nice. Here's the thing, Xavier. I never really had such an appreciation for being Jamaican until I left Jamaica. And Jamaicans in Jamaica don't know that. I grew up going to private prep school where you'd be clapped if you had talk patois. So I had to speak in English all the time and in front of your teachers and blah, blah, blah. You speak in a broken language. When you're over here, most people are speaking English so that they can hear me clearly. When they find out I'm Jamaican, they're like, but why we not hear your accent? Why you not talking a patois? Say something in a patois, man. And I get so happy and excited. And I got to the American embassy the other day. It was the same thing. Like, oh, you're from Jamaica. Whoever you meet, wherever they're from in the world, if you tell them you're a Jamaican, they get so excited. They become so receptive of you. And I realize, like, wow, it really is such a big deal to be a Jamaican. Okay, I never really know that, you know.
So,
But in
so I
Zim,
had,
it's bigger. It's a bigger thing because them really
I,
love
I
Jamaica.
agree. I had a young lady from Zimbabwe on a cruise. She worked on the cruise ship, and she said to me, she says, "I believe people in Zimbabwe love Bob Marley more than Jamaicans." And she was like 22, and that's literally what she
I
told
think
me.
so.
Oh yeah, oh
Yep.
yeah, oh yeah.
Yep.
I think it also talks to the impact he had on the country. I mean, he also loved the country. I mean, it was the last, it was his last international trip
Before, yeah,
before he
yeah.
died,
Mhm.
and he also made a song on Zimbabwe. So yeah, ever since he came, I think he just planted that seed of love, and it's blossomed ever since.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. I'm gonna go back on my your journey, your love journey now. I went on a little cultural journey there. So is there a funny experience you both had about each other's culture? Maybe something that, Deborah, you do in Jamaica, and Tony's like, wait, that's kind of weird. Or Tony, maybe something that you do in Zimbabwe, and Deborah looks at it like, that's kind of interesting or funny or whatever. Do you have a moment you remember?
Oh yes, I do. Just after we got married, uh, we got married in Jamaica and we're staying at her place. So I was so timid because here in Zimbabwe, you sort of there are some do's and don'ts you do with your father-in-law or with your in-laws. But it was so chilled in Jamaica, such that like when you're here, you can't wear like shorts or show revealing type of clothes
Like a
like a
vest.
vest. You almost have to go dressed up almost properly or appropriately if you're seeing your in-laws. But then in Jamaica, I was sitting in my shorts, my father-in-law in his shorts, with our vests, and guess who was cooking? My father-in-law was there cooking food for me, cracking jokes. So for me, it was like, ah, I
He
felt
was so
I was so
uncomfortable.
uncomfortable because it like goes against what I'm culturally used to. Because for us we have to revere all the time, like your father-in-law. Not that I didn't respect, I respected him like that, but I was showing him the respect that I was taught how you show. But then For them, they were like, "No, Tony, don't worry. Yeah, you're one of us. Relax." So I had to come out of this shell to say, you know what? This is actually fine.
Yeah, they really spent a lot of time being like, you no, look, this is not Zimbabwe, this is Jamaica. You're free, like you're okay, you're one of us. You can wear your shorts, it's hot. Why you want in a pants and wear your marina, wear your shorts, you're good, like it's okay, relax.
Yeah,
And he warmed up to it, but still it would come like we'd be in private and he's like, babe, but we can't wanna do this in Zim, and I'm like, you're not in Zim. It's fine.
yeah.
What about you, Debs? Did you find something that you're like, this is either funny or a little different, apart from the sitting on the mat, as you had mentioned before?
I think you've been a bit clever about this because she sort of like builds alliances with my family. I don't know how to say that.
What do you mean?
Like you're so close with my mom and my sisters,
Okay.
such that if there's something funny happening, they kind of like buffer you or you buffer each
Yeah, I've
other.
that's the thing. I've never really, some of those things you see in these African movies with the
Oh, I was saying you
in-laws
have
and
somebody to
whatever.
bounce things.
Yeah, I've
Right,
never
right.
really almost, I think in a way they shield me from stuff I get without me knowing. I don't know. I've just never really experienced. But I'm trying to think of something even maybe funny. Not really.
Yeah, no, no worries. I mean, no worries. I mean,
Not really. If
I
if
think
it if something comes to mind, I'll tell you. I'll come back
all right.
to you.
No, so you got married in Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we did.
Was there something, Deborah, that you wanted Tony to experience in Jamaica, and did he get to experience it?
Yeah. I wanted him to meet my family, my entire family. So because flying from Zim to Jamaica or from Jamaica to Zim, it's a bit expensive. So even if we had the wedding here in Zim, there's no way my entire family was going to come. And then I felt like I would be moving to Zim. So it's like him taking me to this side, right? So it would be proper if everybody meet him before I leave. So that was a big thing for me, for him to meet my family, the people I grew up with. And he experienced that. And also just like going to the beach
Mm.
and feeling how free Jamaica is, in
Zimbabwe
Zim.
is landlocked, so
Yeah. And in Zim, there are a lot of unsaid codes in behavior and so on, which is not a bad thing. Like especially if you're coming from a Christian background and you have morals and you believe in all these structured things, but there's also a freedom about Jamaica that's nice. Like if you're hot and you just feel like you're wearing a spaghetti strap and nobody is judging you because you're wearing a spaghetti strap. Over
Okay.
here that might somebody might judge you because of that. So that just freedom, I wanted him to feel it, like you can just leave and people not don't really care what you look like or whatever. They haven't made any judgment on your character from your clothing. I wanted him to experience a bit of that too.
All right. So, favorite food, Jamaican food, Tony.
mm, favorites just to be jerk chicken.
Good choice.
Yeah, jerk chicken. Specifically Portland jerk chicken. Uh, with plantain.
All right.
Yeah, plantain with
Oh,
fried plantain. Yeah, but the side
Okay, good choice.
definitely.
Deb, what's
Favorite
your
Zim food or
favorite
Jamaican
Zim
food?
food? What's your favorite Zim food?
um that would have to be sadza with beef stew and muriwo, which is like the Shona word for like
Right.
green veggies. It's a typical Zim dish, and I really like the combination. It took me a while to get used to the sadza and the eating. Oh, let me tell you about the eating with your hands.
Sadza is like what, 10 corn meals, right?
Yeah, it's almost like turn cornmeal, but it's thicker, right? And you do not use. So when I came to Zim, I never know. So I take out my fork. I think I actually dished for everyone, and then I take my dish, everybody plate, and put the fork next to it, like I usually do. And everybody busts out in laughter, like, "What are you doing? We don't eat sadza with fork. You have to put that back." And I'm like, "What?" And then everybody put back them fork. They proceeded to eat with them hand, and then I was expected to do the same. So I tried, and I really couldn't bring myself to put my whole hand in the food. So I was like pinching. I pinched the salsa, and I was like, you know what, this I gotta take a little bit more time. Let me use the fork for today and work on this hunting. But now, if you see me these days, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm
You're a
all
pro
good.
now.
I'm a pro.
All right, so I'm going in a different direction now, and I know you probably weren't all prepared for it. I never told you about this, but we're gonna do a little pointing game, and you're gonna point at each other. Who would have done this? So I'm gonna ask some questions, and you will point at either yourself or point at your spouse. All right.
Okay,
So
sounds fun.
here is the first question. Here is the first question. Who said I love you first? All right.
Mhm.
Who spends the most money?
I'm something else. I'm not the typical woman. Yeah, put it that
All
way.
right. Who is the better cook?
He does not. He can't save his life.
I can.
Who is the worst singer? Who who is most likely to bankrupt the family?
I probably him, but not intentionally.
Yeah.
Through business. So he's
Yeah.
more of a risk taker.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm not
not.
risk taking, so
Mm-hmm.
that's why I think, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who takes longer to get dressed in the morning? Who is most likely to make friends in any situation? Like the social butterfly. All right. Well, listen, guys.
That's
Thank you
it.
again for spending
No,
some
I
time.
was having fun, Xavier.
um, here's I'm winding down, and here's a question I have for you. So, Tony, if there is one Jamaican skill that you could master, what would that skill be? And the same question is coming to you, Debs. So you have a little time to think about it. The Zim skill.
Oh, something I've always loved about Jamaicans, and you know what that is? I think it's just the rhythm, the music. I don't know where they get it from. I love dancehall music to the core. So if I could be a Jamaican musician, ah, yeah, I think that's the one thing. Just the rhythm, yeah, I don't know where they get it from. I mean, most Jamaican artists are just off the charts, and for me, that's what I think I'd want.
Hmm. Zim skill. I think for me, it's there's this big stick, right? So there's sadza, and you make sadza like this, like it's turned cornmeal, but it's thick, right? So you do it in a small pot like this. So I've learned to do this one. But if you go to a big like funeral or something big where they're catering for a lot of people, is a big pot to it. It's like halfway up here, so and then they have two big spoon like this, And then there's these ladies, or there's some people who are very good at it. So then, and then mix and mix and mix. And I'm like, how are you not tired? You know what I mean? But it's so impressive. You know, when them done the sides are smooth and nice. So if I could have any Zim skill, I think it
That's a
would be to
skill.
be able to do that. Yeah, do that something there with the big pots.
So, final question. What advice would you give couples who are navigating cultural differences in a relationship?
Do you want to start?
No, you start.
Um, so I think the first thing is to recognize that your baseline where you're starting from is different. Like he said earlier, he grew up having his a different worldview, and I grew up with a different worldview. And it's not terribly different from when people just have small, like, I guess maybe differences that you have to compromise on. So the first thing is understanding the worldview and remembering whatever core values that brought you guys together in the first place. So the core values form your foundation, and you always have to refer to it. Why am I with this person? What do we share? That's similar. What values do we have in common? What goals and future aspirations do we share as a unit, right? And then remember that you come from a different worldview. So the issue is not the foundation or your goals or the direction, it's maybe the how you're going about it. And then to navigate that, you really have to communicate. We're still learning that, like, I have to often communicate where I'm coming from with something, and he does the same. And then the key thing is to be open to understanding where they're coming from, and then trying to learn and come to a conclusion on how you will continue, because remember, it's one path that you're both going on. The issue is the view. So if you can try to understand their viewpoint, and in some cases you might have to compromise in order to, move forward. So be willing to compromise. You don't have to be scared of compromising, because remember, you've ensured that the core values are the same. So if you're compromising on something is not a core value, because you're already on the same page with that. You know what I mean? So I think that would be my.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think I wouldn't agree any less. You have to first agree on the core values, as you said, like have a foundation, and to also realize that you're having a blended family, so compromises are going to have to be made, and you're also going to have like your own unit, your own like separate family unit. It's not going to be like this. We're living in Zimbabwe, but this is not most of the Zimbabwean norms in this house.
Yeah,
It's
our norms are blended.
they're blended.
Mm.
So we have days where we are saying, okay, this whole month we're just doing Jamaican food, or So I guess it's just have that understanding, and don't be afraid to ask each other. Actually, be willing to ask each other the hard questions as to how the external family is going to also react, and
Yeah.
how you are going to navigate through the hard questions, so to speak.
Hmm. Absolutely.
That is great, great advice. I love the Jamaican food one day, and then the Zim food another
Yes, because
day,
my
and
son I feel learn feel like Jamaican food. Him can't go home and my mother cook for him and him start say, Lad, what is I don't wanna eat this. No, you have to know no Jamaican food from home. Yeah. Mm.
and have you taken your son to Jamaica?
He was born in Jamaica. But he hasn't been back. Yeah, he hasn't been back since. I plan on taking him
Okay,
soon though.
Mm.
okay,
Hmm.
all right. But both foods, he's getting used to both foods.
Yes,
Yes.
definitely.
Yes, yes.
And I love what also love what you said, Tony, about asking the hard, difficult questions and communicating that, because just husband and wife alone, you have to, there's communication, but then there's this cultural level of communication. Great, great point. Great, great stuff. Well, listen, Tony, Debs, thank you again. I'm gonna put Debs on the spot this time because it sounds like you've been learning one of the languages there. So
Shauna.
you're gonna Shauna.
Hmm.
Okay. How do you say goodbye in Shauna?
Goodbye. Tawanana.
To another.
So as if I want to say see you tomorrow, Tawanana Mangwana.
All right. So I'm gonna say goodbye. Tanana. Is that right?
Tawanana.
And before you go, Xavier, maybe we've got a YouTube channel to those who are
Oh,
Oh
interested
yes,
in our
please.
family. Yeah, it's called the
Please.
Mega Bush Family. Yes,
yes,
it's
the
called
Mega Bush
the
family.
Mega Bush Family. So if you want to catch up on what happens in this Jamaican family, that's what we call ourselves. You can just head over there. It's called the Mega Bush Family.
Yeah, here on
Yes,
YouTube.
please check out their channel. Please check out their
Yes.
channel to learn more about what they're doing and how this the cultural differences and all of that. All right,
Hmm.
so I'm gonna try again. And Tony, correct me.
Yes.
Telenana.
Hey,
Yes,
Tonana.
Tawanana.
Telenana.
Yes.